my name is Abigail and welcome back to Polyglot Progress. Today is January 3rd, 2021, which means this is the start of my January wrap-up video, the first wrap-up video of 2021, so I am pretty excited. It is the 3rd, so let me just start by kind of catching you up with what I've been doing for the past few days. January 1st was a great start to the new year in terms of my language learning. I woke up, I spent like probably about 20 minutes in bed just reading in French. I got up, started to have kind of a slow but productive morning. I was supposed to work in the evening, but my boss ended up canceling my shift, so I unexpectedly had a whole day off. And in that time, I did like an hour of ASL homework, so I just kind of reviewed the vocabulary and finger spelling that I'd learned the night before and did all of the homework assignments for it. And then in the evening, I actually also got an hour of Bulgarian study done. Yesterday, on the 2nd, I did not have a great language day, so I was at work and I was only supposed to work for a few hours, and then I ended up having to stay many more hours than I was supposed to. So instead of having a morning shift and then the afternoon to kind of do things, I ended up being at work all day, which meant that by the time I got home, I was honestly feeling so fried. Not only had I been at work all day, which is draining on its own, but also I was there all day because it was super busy, and also I have a knee injury right now, so standing in general really doesn't feel very great, and I did that for many more hours than I was expecting to. So yesterday pretty much all I did was a little bit of finger spelling practice. I know I said in my goals video that I knew how to finger spell, I just was very slow with it and forgot a bunch of letters from time to time. But it turns out there was a bigger problem, which was that even the finger spelling that I had learned just kind of over the course of my life is wrong for multiple letters. So I am working to correct that and to just kind of learn all of the letters. I definitely need to work on just recognizing them a lot faster, and I need to work on being able to produce them a lot faster. That only comes with practice, so I did a bit of that yesterday. I'd say it probably adds up to be about 30 minutes, so really I didn't do all that much yesterday. I just kind of spaced it out throughout the day, and it was helpful, but I really do wish that I could have gotten a lot more done yesterday, especially because I started the year off so strong with doing 3 language things. But even though this is a new year and a fresh start and all that, I do still have work. I know for a fact that on days that I have really, really long shifts, I don't feel like I can do all that much language stuff, and that hasn't changed in the new year. And it's also okay that I had a less great language day at the start of this year. It doesn't mean that the full year is gonna be bad, it just means that I had a busy day and I was a little bit fried. Right now. So even though you're gonna see it right back to back, it has been a couple days since I last updated this video. It's now January 8th, and that means it is my first ASL lesson tonight, and I am so nervous. I feel nervous before language lessons with new tutors always, because you know, you don't know how it's gonna be. A lot of finding a language tutor is kind of trial and error and taking lessons with people that don't necessarily work out to be the best tutor for you and stuff. And I mean, even then, absolutely awful lessons where I leave feeling miserable never really tend to happen. Worst case is usually just that the teacher isn't the perfect fit for me, but nothing went horribly wrong and I probably got to practice the language for 30 minutes to an hour. But I still just get really nervous before them, and I'm not totally sure what it is. I guess it's just a new person and the idea of speaking a language and being vulnerable with someone new. But I'm way more nervous for this one, and I think the reason is just that I haven't had a language lesson that involves anyone other than me and my tutor in a really long time. The idea of going through those kind of embarrassing and vulnerable first steps with learning a language and doing that in front of people other than just my teacher is a little bit nerve-wracking. And I think more so the thing that I'm worried about right now is just we were given material to kind of go over and learn before this class, and I've done that. I've practiced it and whatnot. It's just finger spelling and counting and a few signs, so nothing super wild. But I'm just worried that I'm gonna get there and everyone else is gonna have studied it more than me, or studied it in a way where they've picked it up really well and they're not stumbling through it, or they're never forgetting things. I don't care about being the best person in the class, and obviously there's no grades or anything for this, so I don't even care about like performing well. It's just, I guess I worry that I will have not done enough in comparison, even though I have been studying it and going over it. It's just, I can tell that I'm not very good at fingerspelling still, which is part of learning a new language, but I worry that I'm gonna get there and everyone's gonna be so good at it and I'm gonna be the one odd one out. And probably in 20 minutes when I go to class, that will not be the case. There will be other people struggling with it because it's difficult at first. I am excited to be doing a language thing tonight though. The past few days I have not really done any kind of language stuff. A few days ago was the 1-year anniversary of a death of someone I was pretty close to, and I was expecting to feel down on that day, but I wasn't expecting to kind of slip back into the mourning process to the degree that I did. And that's okay. I think I needed to take a few days off to just do that because I guess that is where I am at in my grieving, even if I didn't necessarily realize that that was where I was at. But it does mean that yesterday and the 2 days prior, I didn't do any kind of language stuff. Yesterday I did a very small amount of Bulgarian Pod 101, so I am just excited to be kind of getting back into that. Obviously, I really like language learning and it can be an escape, but I needed almost no escapes. I needed to really just do nothing a few days ago. On a brighter note though, right before I kind of took those days off, I feel like my Bulgarian had a breakthrough. Not necessarily my usage of the language itself, but just my feelings towards it and my feeling towards studying it and the way it feels like I'm absorbing or not absorbing information. I talked about this, I think, in my November recap video, but I realized that Bulgarian is something that I kind of subconsciously push off. Like, I will choose to study other languages over Bulgarian because I find it so much more difficult than the other projects that I'm studying. Something about it, vocabulary doesn't stick, grammar doesn't stick, nothing sticks. And so even if I'm not outwardly feeling frustrated, my brain just kind of wants me to pick up the things that give me that short-term gratification. So I'll want to study German because I can leave studying a grammar concept and feel like I've learned new things, and that doesn't so much happen with Bulgarian. But I've been studying Bulgarian for an hour a day just to kind of get myself doing it and get more into the habit and routine of it, just to kind of reduce that pressure a little bit, and it's been working. Not only did I get myself studying and kind of get myself past that block, but the other day I was studying and I was just like, I'm making progress and I can feel it. And it feels like when I study other languages now. I still think I'm a much slower Bulgarian learner than I am with any other language that I've studied, but I don't feel like it's this task that is going to take me a million years. I feel much more confident in my ability to learn Bulgarian, and I feel like it's happening now. And so I think just taking time to let myself have days of study where progress could literally just be seeing a word and knowing that I've seen it before and not knowing the definition, but at least recognizing that I've seen it before, or learning one new word, or trying to study a grammar concept for the first time and knowing that I'll have to go back and look over it in another point, but trying to wrap my head around it a little bit has helped so much. I feel so good about it. Halfway through January, and honestly so far I have not felt great about my progress or just my productivity in general. I think that's really the problem, is less so language-wise and more so just life-wise. If I look back even on the last month as a whole, I've done language stuff pretty much every day. The hour of language stuff has been pretty consistent the whole month. It's just I am having so much trouble focusing on anything. I just feel like I have not done any of the stuff that I wanted to get done. I haven't been doing any kind of the like immersion element of my language routine or extra vocab study and that sort of thing. It's really been limited to my kind of hour of study a day, and I'm glad that I've at least kept up with that. It's definitely been helping me feel like I've accomplished at least one thing, but it is like that's the only thing that I can do each day. That and like 1 or 2 other tasks. And I haven't done immersion stuff because I can't stay focused on reading or watching something for long enough, and currently there's other stuff happening in my personal life, which is probably why I'm like this. It's been a wild start to 2021 so far in my personal life, but I don't think it's at the point where I need another day off. I don't think that's the solution. I think I will feel better when I am able to kind of focus on things again and feel like I'm being a normal human again, because I think it's to a degree stressing me out and just frustrating me, and it's making me feel worse, which then in turn makes it harder for me to do things again. So I really don't have a resolution or anything of the sort right now. I just wanted to document this because I've definitely been filming my study over the past few days, and I realized that this would be kind of an important thing to add in there. This is definitely affecting my language learning on a very large scale right now. So this is where I'm at mid-January. I'm hoping that it improves by the end of January. On a brighter note though, look how many of you there are now. This is so wild. So today I'm feeling a little bit better than yesterday. I'm definitely still feeling that kind of frustration and inability to focus on things that I was feeling yesterday that I talked about. But I did manage to get some pretty good language stuff done yesterday, just kind of throughout my day. Today I'd like to do an hour of Bulgarian. I do need to go over my ASL stuff, so usually I would be like, oh, I'll have ASL take up the 1 hour study period that I try to do a day. But I really want to go and get some Bulgarian done, so I'm just gonna try to practice ASL in addition to that, probably for like 20 minutes or so. I just want to run through all the signs that I know and kind of practice that, and also work a little bit on my finger spelling. I'm very slow with finger spelling, so just kind of working on that a little bit more. Speaking of reading, I would like to read a little bit of Percy Jackson, and that's kind of all I have set language-wise today. January has not been the greatest month for me so far. Obviously, you've seen a bunch of stuff, but I have been sick the last couple of days. You can probably hear it in my voice. And of course, I'm not trying to push myself to study or anything right now. I'm really just focused on getting better. But one kind of exciting thing that I wanted to share is that I actually have had a lot of contact with languages, even though I haven't been doing anything. I've talked a lot on here about how I really feel like I struggle with getting myself to read things and watch things for fun, just because I had kind of a strange relationship with it since that was what I was doing in school. While I've been sick, I've obviously been laying in bed, I've been playing Stardew Valley, been watching stuff, and most of what I've been watching has been in other languages. I am still incorporating languages in my life. That does feel like a very big win for me. And now it's time to lay back down. So I am finally considered non-contagious for the flu, so I am back at my mom's house finally, back with my room. Today I've definitely been more productive in general. I did quite a bit, but I actually haven't done anything language-wise, but that's okay. I don't think I'm really gonna get to anything tonight, and I'm at least content with the other stuff that I got done. It's just been a little bit rough to kind of start the year off like this. I mean, beginning of the month I took some time off from things because I was having a low moment with my mental health. Then the month as a whole wasn't superb. I had a bunch of stuff going on in my personal life that was making things very chaotic, and then I was sick, and then the past few days I made a pretty major life change affecting the move that I'm doing, and then I've been apartment hunting, so I've just had my mind in other places. I haven't been thrilled with my language progress, and I've just kind of needed to remind myself that it's because it's been such a chaotic month. Overall, I think a really good thing is that even though all of this has been happening and I really haven't been feeling great about stuff, I haven't at all felt like, oh my gosh, I should just not do these things. Like, really every day it's been figuring out how I can fit a little bit of language stuff in, figuring out how I can work on my goals and my routine and all of that, and overall still feeling really optimistic and still feeling that kind of fresh new feeling of the new year, even though we're now at the end of the month and I have not had a fresh new year. I've only had chaos, but I'm still feeling that kind of new optimism. So I feel like that's a good place to be in. So tomorrow starts the last 7 days of the month, and I'm really hoping that in these last 7 days I can kind of just push and really achieve a bunch of the goals that I had for myself this month. I think it's possible, and I think it will be a much nicer note to end on. And with that, the first month of the year is over. So I'm gonna first just reflect in my bullet journal, go over the habits that I did and didn't do, and update my overall log and that sort of thing for the month. And then I will talk to you about how I am just feeling overall after this month. January. This was not the start that I was really hoping for in this new year. I had a lot going on, both that you heard about in this video and that you didn't hear about in this video, and it was more than just me being busy and having a lot going on. It was also things that were actively negatively impacting my mood and my life and all of those things, which means that my language routine and the goals that I set back in December were constantly being tested, and I definitely felt that. But as I look back on the footage from this month editing this video and at my language tracker for the month and the progress that I did make in my languages, I also feel like I really held up, and I really feel like this month shows that the routine that I'm trying to stick to right now for my language learning is a great routine for me and my lifestyle. And that comes in both me studying and also in the fact that I've wanted for a long time to have languages and immersion in languages just be intermixed with my life. And the fact that I had the flu and didn't have energy to do anything and yet was still watching TV in German and reading in French and doing all these things really feels like that is a sign that I'm beginning to make progress there. And so while at the end of this month I would say I don't feel great about the past month and I don't feel great about my language progress, I know that actually this month is a win for me, and this is actually a great month for my language learning because so many things that I've wanted for such a long time in my routine and so many habits that I've been trying to build are clearly there. They're clearly being built, they're clearly working, because even when all of this is happening, they're still there. But talking about the thing that I don't feel great about, so at the end of this month I currently have been feeling just like I'm really unhappy and dissatisfied and almost uncomfortable with my levels in my languages and the progress that I made over the last month. And I'm not sure why I'm feeling this way, but I am. I know that when I start to study ASL, I just feel like, ugh, I know nothing, and even though I'm learning all these signs, something just feels wrong, I guess, internally. Like I just feel like I'm not doing well enough, even though I'm learning a good number of signs a week and I'm going to class and I'm able to sign with the people in my class and it's going well. And same thing with Bulgarian. I'm learning new Bulgarian stuff and then I go to my lesson and I'm able to speak more Bulgarian than I was last time. And my Spanish class, she said that it was the best that I'd done ever. So obviously I'm doing well and I'm making progress, but something about it feels wrong and like it's not enough and like I'm not in a great place with my languages this month, and I'm not sure what's giving me that feeling. But I do know, and I can confidently say that it is just a feeling that I'm having right now, and really what I need to be doing is figuring out why I'm feeling that feeling right now. So just taking a look at my language bullet journal, just so you can see kind of how this month went. I did touch upon every language. You can see them all in my tracker, but I will say that I didn't do any writing this month. So I didn't get my journal entries that I tried to do done, and I didn't really do anything else, and I'm not totally sure why this is. So I'd like to do a little bit of writing in February, kind of make up for that. The other thing that I would like to see next month is I did mostly ASL and Bulgarian this month, which makes sense. I said that those were going to be my focuses and what I was going to be mainly doing. But next month I just want to try to be a little bit better with getting immersion in. I think a lot of times what kind of fell through in my routine was the immersion piece, especially because this is just the case in general. I really set out to read more and watch more things this year, and just outside of language stuff, I watched 2 movies this month in English, and then I read 2 books, and those were really kind of finishing up books. I wasn't really reading so much, so I really need to work more on continuing to build a habit of reading and watching things. I did watch quite a bit of TV this month for me, so I didn't entirely fail, but I definitely would like to see a little bit more progress on that next month as well. But I think that if I improve that, the immersion improvement will go up as well naturally, because I'm trying to read things in other languages and watch things in other languages. It really is just building that habit in, and I think that should be doable because I actually have left my job. I am maybe occasionally going in to cover 1 day a week, but mainly I am now fully self-employed. And the reason this relates to the habits is just this means that February is basically a full new fresh start for me. Whereas January, of course, was the fresh start to the new year, I was still continuing to do the same things I was doing in December. And I feel like February is really just a fresh start because now I'm going about my life in a totally different way. And with this kind of fresh start, I'm just feeling very optimistic and excited to share it with all of you. I am feeling like, as hard as January was and as rough of a time I had with my language learning, moving into this fresh start is going to give me so many opportunities to be able to really just balance the things that I want to in my life and really make sure that I am doing those things that I want to do for work, and being able to put effort into Polyglot Progress, and being able to put effort into my language learning, but also to just make sure that I am watching things and reading things and really taking set amounts of time to relax at the end of the day. And through that, I will not only be happier and healthier, but also my language learning, I think, will improve, because those are naturally going to be things that I'm doing when I have some time to relax. So I'm hoping February is a little bit easier on me, but overall I'm feeling optimistic and excited for it, and feeling like I'm really about to get a fresh start. And even if I don't, even if it's the same as January, I think January has showed me that I'm beginning to build these habits in ways where I can keep them up even when my life looks like that. So hopefully I will only go up from here, only improve, and hopefully I'll also start to feel a little bit better about my improving in my languages. I would love to hear about how your January went. I'm hoping it was a little bit better than mine. I will see you next Wednesday, and remember, practice makes progress.